Hey guys, Submoto here. So it's been a while since I've gotten to do part 2 or the next segment of my SR 500 build. I bought this bike a while back, and since then we've had the gentleman's ride, and then I was like bedridden for like a week and a half with like fever and crap. Anyway, so I really haven't gotten around to doing much on this bike. And if you didn't see the first segment, it was basically just a rundown of what I'm gonna do to this bike. I'm gonna change up a whole bunch of stuff that still needs doing, obviously. Whenever you buy a motorcycle and you want to make a project out of it, the first thing to do is to make sure that it's mechanically sound. You want to make sure that everything engine-wise, brake-wise, electronics, etc., functions as well as possible before you even consider the cosmetic part. So for today, what I'm going to do, we're going to look at a couple of things. I was thinking that maybe, just maybe, the clutch might be a bit worn. I'm not sure. And then I noticed that the cover right here has a little crack in it, right there. And I was thinking maybe, just maybe, the clutch or something in the clutch has pushed this out somehow. I'm not sure. It might not be. It might just be, a stone or whatever that damaged this. There's no oil coming out of it, so so far so good. And I've been riding with this, and it's just fine. But the thing is, I want to paint the engine. And if I'm going to paint the engine, obviously I don't want to paint on something that's cracked. So I went out there and I bought a new piece. It's an old piece, but it cost me what, like $30 or something. I'm gonna check the clutch, but I want to make an oil change, obviously, because the first thing you want to do when you get a new bike or an old bike, a used bike, is change your oil and change your oil filter. So that's obviously something I'm going to do, and that way I'll be sure that at least that it works, and that I think I should do for one day. So let's do this thing. I've got part 1 of this, and it'll take a while. It's gonna I'm gonna be making other videos, motovlog videos, etc. So I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of that stuff on the side, but every now and then I'll pump out a build video, and so I'll make a playlist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a playlist, and that way, if you want to see the segments of this, like this build only, then you can just go to the playlist section and see how far I've gotten. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna empty the oil. Now, it's different from bike to bike, but look it up in your manual, and it'll be different places on the bike. But on this bike, you're not going to be able to see it perfectly on the camera, but it is here, right there. There it is. You can't see it. That's okay. Neither can I. I can feel it though. And also, what's special on an SR 500, you have oil in the actual frame. So there's oil running up and down inside the frame, which is why you check your oil. On most bikes, you check your oil on the engine itself. But on this bike, you check the oil up here, which is it's like a really thick frame. So not only do you want to empty the oil at the bottom of the engine, but you also want to empty the oil in the actual frame. So there's a screw here, right there. I think that's it. And we're going to empty that as well. Another thing which I forgot to mention is actually you want to open your oil cover so that gets air inside. There's something with the pressure, and I'm not sure how that works. And this screw right here, apparently you want to open that as well. I didn't know that, but so we're going to open that. Jesus Christ. There it goes. Ah, crap, and the wind is blowing, so it's all over the place. So I'm making a mess. I was trying not to make a mess, but it's as windy as it is. It's so like oil is like blowing all over the place. So anyway, so here's the frame screw that you want to loosen. There it goes. This is starting to look more and more like an Ichiban video. If you don't know him, go check him out. He's pretty cool. Don't do whatever he does though. He has like this channel where he has how-tos and he like fixes stuff, but he like he does it like all wrong. And then the best part is like all the comments like, dude, you're gonna get someone killed. Oh, dude, that's not how you do it. And which is like hilarious if you ask me. Go check his channel out, it's awesome. But don't do anything he does. And whenever you do this, don't do it in 200 km/h wind, because as you can tell, I'm getting oil everywhere. Okay, not much I can do. It's just gonna spray everywhere. Damn it. Usually what you want to do is you want to have like a clean reservoir before you do. This one was kind of dirty, but when you do it, make sure it's clean, because you want to be able to inspect the oil that comes out of your engine. So if there's like metal fragments in there, that'll say something about the state of the engine. So I've made a humongous mess, which is good. And next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and we're going to inspect the clutch plates. Okay, so to get to the clutch cover, obviously you're going to want to remove your Kickstarter. So I removed the screw here, and I was hoping that would just come off. There it goes. You want to remove your Kickstarter, and make sure you kind of take note of where it was, so you can put it on the same angle when you get back, so you don't, put it on wrong or whatever. Obviously, you want to have to remove your footrest as well, and I took the screws off of that, so that gets out of the way. And I may have to remove this, but I'm going to give it a chance, see if I can squeeze it through. If not, I'll remove it. But before we take the clutch cover, I'm going to take off the oil filter cover, and we're going to get the oil filter out and see what that looks like. And judging by the way it was riding, I'm going to guess the oil was really old. There wasn't even that much oil in it when I bought it, which is not that good. But I'm guessing this oil filter is going to look pretty bad. And there's the oil filter. That looks pretty bad. So here goes. We're going to take this thing off and see if I can squeeze it on through. Thank you. That's fine. I can get that off. No problem. Okay. So there was a crack in this. You can see the crack is right there. But I can't see the... Oh yeah, there it is. Absolutely. And it was something that hit it from the inside. So something in here must have hit that pretty bad. So I don't see any damage on the actual clutch, but you can tell that it kind of pushed the metal in 3 places, 4 places actually. It only broke through on one spot, so something inside, and you can actually tell that it's been like touching the inside of the cover, which is not good at all, because the clutch is obviously not supposed to touch the clutch cover. That's not good at all. I don't know. We'll see how well it fares. I doubt that it's gonna scratch up the new one. It could also be that if it fell, like this whole thing kind of got bent inwards just a little bit, and that may have done it. See, it's got some damage out here too, and this is outside damage, so it may have just been bent inwards a bit, just enough to touch the screws, and that will obviously screw with your clutch and your shifting. So and here is the gasket, which is all broken up. Oh, but the rest of it's right there. It looks okay. It wasn't leaking or anything, so you want to make sure you get that old gasket off, all of it. I'm gonna check out the clutch plates that are behind this cover and within the basket, and make sure that that they look as they're supposed to. And see what condition they're in. If they're really bad, I may have to get new clutch plates. But there's springs behind these, so when you take them off carefully and slowly, and that way they won't jump out on you. Okay, so this is the last screw. I'm just putting them here so I can find them again. And we're going to get this piece off right here. There we go. Easy does it. And it's so damn windy. It's always raining or something, and windy and stormy whenever I do this kind of crap. So these are the disc plates that I was talking about. I'll just take one out and show you what that looks like. And it has it consists of two pieces, like a metal ring on the back part, like that, and the actual disc plate. And this one's in pretty good condition. You know, I've seen people take these off and they just like completely just like fall apart in their hands. So they like kind of stayed in place while they were in there. You bring them out and just like falls apart. And that's what I want to check for. So this is the clutch basket right here, and in here, I'm gonna point with this. You can see that it's kind of worn, and what happens is sometimes these wear down so bad, like the actual plates wears the basket down, so that when the plates move back and forth, they get stuck. So one good way to fix that is really carefully. You can take a file and file down these edges right there. Now these look worn, but they're not. They're completely smooth. So this is actually really, really good condition. I can feel it. It's worse on the underside, but still not to the point where you would have to. See, this is like old metal. That's like metal wear right there. But it's still pretty smooth and definitely not gonna make a problem. So, and then we got the clutch plates themselves. And like I said, I've seen these fall apart in people's hands and just like completely turn into powder. And I'm going to check these one by one. It looks like they're actually pretty good condition. Yep. They're in pretty good condition. And that's good. So we're just going to put these back in one at a time. I'm not a mechanic. Remember that. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a dude with a bike, and I just kind of figured this stuff out as I went along. So I'm sure there's a lot of this stuff that I'm not doing right, and I figure it out the hard way, and sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes you screw things up, and the best way to learn is to screw things up. So, you know, if there's anything you feel like I could do better, like aligning these, for example. There's an arrow there, and there's an arrow there. So I'm guessing, there we go. These arrows have to align. So if there's something that, you know, you feel I missed or anything, let me know, because I mean I'm learning. Okay, so I got my stuff moved over. This little piece right in there. It was just about taking this piece out, and then yeah, whatever. It's going to be different from bike to bike, but anyway, just make sure that everything that's on the old one, just move that over to the new one. And this little piece right here has like a rubber gasket, and then there's like a spring inside, and I didn't know there was a spring inside, so I just kind of like took that off, and it just like boom, jumped out. So I had to call a friend and ask him how to put that back together. But anyway, so we're ready to put this thing back on, and we'll cross our fingers and hope it doesn't get damaged like the old one did. It's kind of strange it was doing that. Alright, so we're gonna take this gasket right here, like that, right there. So here goes. Gonna put the new cover. So here we are. We've got the clutch cover on, And the next thing is to put on the old or the new oil filter. Like this. Quite simple. And we got our new gasket. There's a little gasket, little round gasket that came with it, and that goes right there underneath. I'm not sure what that's for, but that's where it goes. It looks like that's where it goes anyway. Here's a new gasket. I just threw out the old one. And when you do this, apparently it's a good idea to take some oil, old oil, and kind of just smear it on there. There we go. That works just fine right there. Perfecto. So just remember to close everything up, and you know, because we're gonna put oil in it in just a second, and when we put oil in it, you want to make sure that you close all the screws. Don't tighten them too much. You don't want to break the screws. And that's actually a place where a lot of people have problems. Whenever they take the oil screws at the bottom, they have a tendency to tighten them up. They're like, oh, you got to tighten these up so that no oil comes out. But problem is they end up over tightening them, and if you do that, you're screwed. So this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to make sure that everything is closed and tight as it's supposed to be. Close that, and that's tight in there. Yep. Alright, so we're going to put it in, and I think it takes about 2 liters, and that's pretty much what I got with me. So if we spill, then we don't have enough oil. Okay, so we put everything together. Just started the machine, and the reason I'm doing this is because you want the oil to get warm, and when the oil gets warm, it gets thinner, and which means that'll show you if the gaskets are tight or not. I'm going to let it warm up just a bit, and then we're going to take it inside and inspect the gasket and make sure that everything is as tight as it's supposed to be. So anyway, so that was part 2 of my SR 500 build. Like I said, it's a slow process, and the first thing you want to do with any of these builds before you look at anything cosmetic or anything like that is make sure your engine works, make sure you got the right mixture, look at your carburetor, look at your brakes, look at everything mechanical before you do anything at all cosmetic. And that's what we're doing now. And next time around, we're going to look at the carburetor, and we're going to try some fun stuff out in that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, and remember, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a dude with a bike, and that's about it. You know, I've tried some stuff, and I've made some mistakes, and I've ruined some stuff, and that's how you learn. That's how you learn. So if you have any pointers, if you have anything that you think I could do better, or something I did wrong or whatever, just tell me, because you know, that's how I learn. That's how we all learn. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. So remember to subscribe and ride, and I'll catch you all later.